Welcome back to another episode in the YZ80, the 1980 YZ80. Chico is back off of furlough, administrative leave. He's somewhat disgraced, but he has gotten me some parts. But right now, let's just dive into the engine and start disassembling the bottom end. Taking all the screws off, and of course, if you don't have one of these, you're going to need it because these screws don't come off easy. So let's see what we got here. Okay, well, there was water in the bottom here when I drained it, and I'm fully expecting some issues somewhere, and I'm already seeing one. I think there's four. This is an oddball screw, so I'm not sure what this is all about. I see a seal down here that's popped out. Now, how in the heck can a seal pop out? On the Kickstarter? Or no, that's on the crank. We're all here. And it looks like everything's there, so let's continue on. I was able to get this gasket off in one piece, which is really unusual. So I'm not really going to have to do a whole lot of cleaning on this side cover. Okay, I've got the clutch, all the discs and so forth off. There's a little wear on the clutch basket, but I'm going to live with it. You know, most of my stuff is a static display anyway when it's done, but it's plenty good for riding. This is a Honda tool, which gets your magneto rotor off. So we got that off. Now I was able to get the magneto out, or stator. Look at that seal. It's a wonder this thing ran. The seal is probably letting a lot of air in and a lot of oily gas out. God knows what's going on there, but that's something that needs to be addressed. From here on out, I'm convinced that this is all virgin stuff. There's no hashing on any of these screws. So we got to get the kick shaft out. We're going to get the rest of this side disassembled. I purchased this tank off of eBay, which would work fine. I can work with the faded plastic, but the mounts, these mounts do not work. They sit about ½ an inch too narrow for this mounting area. So they made two different styles in this year. Now the microfiche from Yamaha shows these exact brackets, but they do not line up to this. So I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. So in the meantime, I started on the wheels. I've got the front wheel all polished out. It's looking great. I've got a new band on it, a new tube, and a tire. And there it is. There's the new rubber all on there. And the rim and hub all done and detailed. As you recall, I had a bent front fork tube, the tube here. And it sure was nice of one of the subscribers to let me know that they've had success straightening the tube with a press. And look at that. That tube is straight. I took it out to the press, and sure enough, got this to be serviceable. So it's cleaned up and time to detail the front forks. And this is the finished result that I'm looking for. So you can go back to my other videos, and the earlier ones will show the way that I sand these, the way I sand them, and then the way that I polish them. But each time, you know, there's a little something I do different. So if there is, I'll show you that. Otherwise, we'll just go to the point where these are all polished and ready to assemble. And there it is, done. Nice and polished. Looking good. I found a bolt that's the right size. And just so you know, the parts locator does not show a sealing washer. Luckily, I had an extra couple of ATC 200S, and these washers are perfect. There's the old one. There's the old one, there's the new one. So these will work great. And it's not like they didn't have one, because these two are original. This is the original one that came out of the other fork and washer. And here's the little plug that goes in the end for when you're changing your fluid, your fork oil. It has a seal. It has a sealing washer on it, and they don't show it in the microfiche. So I happen to have them, and you'll just have to scrounge up what you got. But I'd put a new one in because I've had so many of these leak. Now this is not a problem. You just, you know, if anything, you would maybe turn the bike upside down or do something and replace it and put it back in. But this is just a hassle, so get yourself new sealing washers. Got the fork seal out, and that's what I used. I also noticed that they used a little bit of sealant on the threads. So I think I'll do that just for insurance. Well, I caved in and I gave Chico his job back. He's off of administrative leave. And I did that because, you know, I didn't get the fork seals ordered, so that stuck. It just put me back. Right, Chico? Yeah. So, anyhow, what we're going to do now is Chico told me I can go ahead and start doing the bearings here, the steering stem bearings. So let's get these installed. And welcome back, Chico. I hope you're going to do a better job this time. Yeah, right. Bearings are in, and today it's a full day of plating. You just have to run when you're plating, but they come out beautiful. Nice and shiny and new. So got a lot of plating to do. Fork caps, so I can get it, once the seals come, I can get that all the forks all straightened around. And this bottom looks beautiful. Still even got the decal inside, which I think is great. This cleaned up, but this top area here, I'm going to pull this plate if I can, and then I'm going to replate this. I don't know, I might even have to just put it in the plater with the rubber and experiment with that, but otherwise I'll just take a wire wheel to it and clean it up and maybe even paint it black. So we'll see. Now that the steering stem bearings are in, it's time to do or work on the swing arm bearings. Now what I did is I took this nice little wire wheel and I went in there and I got that looking really good. I'm going to put a light on it so you can see what they look like. And they got the little groove in there for the oil or the grease, and then the two seals on either side. I've got all that stuff, but I was putting this in and it wouldn't go in. This is in there now. It's nice. Here's the other one. And that'll pop past that seal. And there we have it. No problem. These are all greased up. And in there, a little extra. Now there's a very wafer thin small washer that goes in here, right here. So you've got the inner shim, you've got this, you've got the seal. Get that up there, get it pressed against there. There we go. That pops onto the swing arm, and then there you have it. We'll go on the other side, finish that up. And in reverse order, now I'm missing a piece that I'm kind of seeing if Rocky Mountain will really get, and that is going to be questionable. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it together without that piece, and I can add it later. I probably have to get it off of eBay. A little grease on there, and then pop that on. Now that whole area is done, and what we would have had here is there was a little cover that the chain kind of rolls on, and it is important. I'm going to get it, but I'm going to try Rocky Mountain. See, they say, you know, some of the stuff they have listed says, you know, 2 or 3 days shipping or 5 business days, which means they don't have it in stock. They're getting it from Yamaha, but you know, sometimes they don't keep up with Yamaha's out of them. Never made them in the last 20 years, and so they call me back or they send me an email and say, we don't have the part. So let's just put the rest of this together. And we got what I didn't have, I ordered, and they have. It's amazing how many parts they have still. You know, and a lot of these washers go on newer bikes, but that's it there. Well, I gotta say that Chico did an excellent job ordering just what we needed and nothing we didn't, and there was nothing missing. This, like I said, the little cover here is missing because it's not available currently. I see them on eBay, so I'll end up with one. But very nice. And swing arm pivots, and that's perfect. There's like no axial play in it. So I believe the next step will be to restore the shock. And I got it all apart using the, and it was a little treacherous because this bracket here, these are too wide, it doesn't go in there. So I just had it sitting on that shaft like so, and it didn't need a whole lot of spring compression to get this off, so that was a good thing. So we've got this, we can clean all this up. I mean, this is just golden when I've still got this sticker and all this. This is hidden. So what I'm going to do, I can't necessarily break this loose. I am going to try, but then I would end up putting this rubber in the plating bath, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scuff this up, get all this rust off, and I'm going to paint it black. And I'm going to paint this spring, and it will look brand new. So I got the spring all painted. It's looking nice. And this looks beautiful. So I wanted to show you the custom plating. When you can do your own custom plating, you can make it look just as aged as the other. So look at that. This was plated, and that isn't. And I do that with a combination of blue chromate and yellow chromate after the zinc plating. So let's put this shock back together. And there it is installed. Looking good. So So, on to more plating. I'm going to give you a before and after. So here's the before, the spokes and the wheel and the hub with that nasty bearing. A nice before. It's all prepped, ready for paint. Got it wet sanded. All the grease, everything's off. It's going to look beautiful. So let's turn this semi-gloss black. I always like to show how how restorations don't always go as planned. Well, we ordered these spokes. They came out of Thailand, and they are definitely too long, so got to get some different ones. I can't tell you how hard it's been to get the right spokes for this. So we finally got it laced up. Now you can see I probably could have gone a little bit longer on the spokes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 millimeters, maybe even 5 millimeters longer. These were 29 millimeters, measuring from here to the end of the spoke. So, got the bearing in. I'm going to put in the spacer, the other bearing, and one seal, and then I'll be able to true this rim. So, I'll do all that, and then I'll put it on the truing machine. And everything's trued. Looking good. Ready to mount the tire. Everything went on really nice. Got the valve stem and the rim lock. Now all I need to do is detail this tire. And she's ready to go. So we're going to move on to the forks. I've got everything I need to finish those. The bolt that was in there I think was wrong, or maybe there wasn't even a bolt, but I've got the sealing washer and a new bolt. I've got a sealing washer on the drain on both sides and the original bolt with a sealing washer, dust seals, and fork seals. There's 2 ways to do these fork seals. So one, which is the way I chose, and it kind of is the way that the manual is saying to do it, but it's really vague, is to go ahead and install the seal and then just install a fork tube here, and these are the 2 areas that the seal has to cross, which is probably 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because even if I did the cellophane wrap trick, I've got some some corroded part, little areas here that could tear the seal too. So, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If this wasn't here, then I probably would slide the seal on and then use a seal driver to put it into the tube. But I'm going to do it this way. So let's get this one in and get these forks put together. And install the bottom bolt with a little bit of Yamalube. Now that I've got them all put back together with the dust covers, it's time to fill them with oil. I decided to put the fork tubes in just to make sure I don't have any problems. And they went in pretty easily, so I'll fill it with oil when it's basically all bolted in. And the front wheel's on. And I've painted the handlebar triple tree, and I don't have any 20 weight oil, so I'm going to order it. So I'll leave these loose, and I'm going to leave this loose here, and let's get the rear wheel on. Let's make this a roller. And the rear sprocket, got the bars on and all of the bolts. We've got it elevated here to work on the rear wheel getting it on. But first, we have to build the rear brake. Some EVC brake shoes, plated arm, and the painted hub. So let's put this together, put it on the rear wheel, and put this axle in and see if we can get the back wheel to spin. With the rear tire on and the rim on, I'm not happy with Chico. I don't think he got me the real or the correct rear brake shoes. So I ordered a set of OEM NOS Yamaha rear brake shoes, and we'll just see. But we're to the point here now where we're going to start with the motor. So let's get this off the stand and we're going to start to assemble the motor. Well, Chico reminded me that my videos run long and he's getting bored. He's getting, you know, look at him. Just look at him. Right, Chico? Yeah, we need to shorten up the videos. So this will be the end of this segment, and we're going to start. What we're going to do, Chico? Chico, what we're going to do? Oh yeah, start on the motor. Okay, so next time we'll start on the motor.